on YouTube, Facebook. We will do some balance. We'll focus a little bit on balance and a little bit more on strength. We're going to do some of the tigers, go back to our squats and some nice arm stretches. But we'll start off loosening up the body a little bit, getting some mobility in the spine. I understand I was on the wrong microphone on Tuesday, so I apologize if you were listening on YouTube and Facebook and couldn't hear me, or it was very echoey because I forgot to put the correct microphone on, but hopefully you can hear me okay now. Feet shoulder width apart, nice and stable, feel nice and grounded through the floor. Start that movement, hips and waist. Really relax the shoulders, relax the arms. Let the elbows bend, and just tapping back and belly. Breathing just normally, just slightly in and out through the nose. You don't have to think about your breathing. Just keeping the mouth closed, lips lightly together, jaw relaxed. Lifting and lengthening through the spine. A little bit of a weight shift. So if you're rotating towards the left, you're just shifting that weight onto the right and vice versa. Let that knee bend, so you sort of like, almost like push into the ground a little bit. It's not dropping the hips side to side. Feel the side of the hips working, feel the glutes working. Keep the spine tall, keep the spine long. Feet in contact with the ground, heels, balls of the foot. And then just back to evenly balanced and slow it down into water waves. Sink a little bit lower in the knees as you go into water waves. Somebody is at my door. How bizarre. I'll have to wait. Sinking into the knees a little bit. And then slow it down. Stand for a moment. Just bring the feet together to about hip width. And then step back out, hips gliding back a little bit, knees bent a little bit more. Keep low in the knees and the hips, just moving the pelvis, tilting the pelvis and lifting and opening up the chest. Spinal cord breathing. Keep low in the hips and the knees, but tilting the pelvis, tucking the pelvis under. And here we're just breathing comfortably with the movement. So breath in through the nose, quiet breath, soft breath, not pulling breath in. It's actually, as you expand, there's hardly any effort to breathe in. Following your own breath, your own rhythm. Smooth movement, smooth fluid movement, smooth, easy breathing. If you get any little creaks, that's fine, as long as it doesn't hurt. And just keeping the breath smooth. Couple more in your own time. And take a rest. Again, just take a moment to balance. If you need to shake your legs out, that's absolutely fine. Nice and tall through the spine. And then a little bit of dog wags the tail. So just shifting hips side to side, keeping that pelvis parallel to the ground. So you're putting that weight through the legs, knee bends on that side that you shift the weight to, and then free up that spine. So the hip leads and then the spine follows. And the head is on top of the spine, so that head follows the spine. So really think of that wave side to side. Really free up the lower back. Work your way up that spine, upper back, into the neck. You need to keep tall through the spine as you're doing this to get that freedom side to side. And slowing it down again. Slow it down. Just bringing your feet back together. And we'll do a really nice shake. So again, shaking is really good just to release any tightness and tension. And just shake as you feel. Sometimes you need just a gentle shake in the morning. Other times you might feel you need a little bit more of a vigorous shake. Just go for, excuse me, that got my cough going. Just go for whatever feels good for you. You might want to tap your heels into the ground. But see if you can free up the shoulders, shaking the wrists. And you may feel you want to do a slightly fuller breath. Think of it as cleansing and clearing. And then slow that down. Slow it down. Slow it down. Stand, open up the arms here. Open up the space underneath the armpits. Lift tall through the spine. A good shake during the day again, if you're feeling a little bit stressed, if you've been sitting a little long time, just those 3 movements that we've just done, those rotations, flexions and extensions, lateral flexion, and a little bit of a shake. Even if you just do 1 or 2 of them, that's absolutely, it's quite a nice thing to do. Good. Next movement we're going to do, just go slightly wider on your stance. Again, you pick the width of your stance, but it needs to be a little bit wider than shoulder width. And we're going to drop the pelvis towards the ground. It's a bit different to a squat, because in a squat what we would do is we would sit back. Here you're just going to, excuse me, you're just going to drop down. So it's almost like you're not tucking the pelvis under. I don't want you to tighten anything here, but you want to keep that lower back long, and just watch that the knees go over the toes. You don't need to go too deep. Just get that movement going. You can actually pop your hand, one hand on your lower belly, one hand on your back. It's a nice way to feel that. And then just lower. and then come back up. So you shouldn't get much of a change in that lower back position. We don't want any compression in the lower back, and we don't want those knees to come too far forwards. If this is painful on the knees, if you've got any knee issues, if you've got any ankle issues, even just a little dip, just do a little dip. If you can go a little bit deeper, that's fine. So you'll start to feel the quads working, the inner thighs working. So just lowering down and then coming back up. Let's do a few of these. Nice and slow. Good. And then take a moment, just walk your feet back in, give your legs a little bit of a shake. And then we'll do the same thing with the lower body, but we'll bring some arm movement with the upper body in it. So go a little bit wider again, find your comfortable width. Remember that position of the pelvis without tightening anything, without locking anything. And as you drop down, just bring the arms up and then press out to the side. And then as you come up, arms go back down. So arms up, and then really extend, really stretch the arm lines, fingers towards the sky, and then back down. So soften the arms here, put a little bit of strength, put a little bit of resistance pushing through the arms as you go out. Stretch the thumbs, really point the fingers towards the ceiling, the sky. And then once you've got used to the movement, you can breathe in. And you can breathe out. Just nice light breathing again. We don't want to do big breaths, silent breathing, nice soft breathing, in and out through the nose. Do a couple more. Have some good tension now through the arms, through the fingers. And take a rest. Walking your feet back in, and again, having a little shake out, shaking the arms, maybe if you need to shake the arms out a little bit. Taking a moment, standing tall. Letting the breath settle. And then stepping out shoulder width. Let's do flying, so breathing in. Lifting tall, breathing out. Breath in, expanding, and breath out. Now the arms are soft all the way through this movement, so there's no stretching, it's just soft, elbows soft, wrists soft, fingers soft. Expanding and standing a little bit tall. Shoulders are heavy, shoulders are down. And relaxed. It's very tempting to lift with the shoulders, so just keep the shoulders down. Feel how the spine lengthens, how the rib cage moves, how the rib cage expands as you breathe in, softens as you breathe out. Maybe there's a little bit of a weight shift forwards and backwards. Again, you just do what feels natural without trying to move in any particular way. Just think of expanding, soaring high, and then softening and relaxing. Couple more. Good, and take a rest again, letting the breath settle. Then we'll do the same movement, but this time we'll add that little bit of weight shift, that little bit of balance to it. So starting off, I'm going to mirror you. So as the arms float up, we're going to shift the weight to the left side, and we're just going to peel that right heel. So you're balanced, you can almost just tap the ball of the foot on the ground there. You've got all of the weight, all of the strength through this left side of the body. And then we're going to come back down and shift the weight to the right, balance. Right side of the body. Again, this ball of the foot here is just helping to stabilize you. Down, and then shift the weight to the left, standing tall. And then sinking low a little bit, shift the weight to the right, standing tall. Stand tall, using that right leg, using that right side of the body. Shift the weight. So we're a little bit wider apart, so we're deliberately having that nice movement, that nice weight shift side to side. Get the rhythm going, then breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Do one more on each side. And then take a rest. Give your arms a bit of a shake. And then another balance practice. So you're shifting the weight, balancing now on the left side, and then just bringing this right knee and right elbow to connect there, and then stepping back down. Now if that's a little bit challenging, again what you can do is you can just balance on the ball of the foot there, but maybe see if you can just bring that ball of the foot off a little bit higher there. But if you're comfortable with it, balance, and have in mind that knee connected to the elbow. Step down nice and lower, and then knee connected to elbow. Again, if you just want to do that, that's absolutely fine. Keeping the shoulder down, bringing that elbow in. And it also helps if you have in mind too, this opposite arm, the trail arm, it's almost like you're resting. Remember the tiger's heads we used a while back, so you're just resting, balancing with this arm, this hand, sorry, down towards the ground. Gives you that extra little bit of stabilization. Breathing all the way through it, so no breath holds. And the challenging part is coming back down, is this slow bit here usually. It's easy just to fall off that balance, but keep the balance, keep the movement nice and slow as you step back out. And if you want to challenge yourself even more, you can reach a little bit further out. You can go a little bit lower down to come up and wobble a little bit. So reaching a little bit further out, lower down, standing tall. Remember to follow the breath. So if you start to lose control of the breath, if your breath gets a little bit chaotic, if you're holding the breath, then the movement's maybe just a little bit too much for you at this moment in time. So you just go back to balance and lift. It's not about pushing or forcing. This is just as good, this is just as beneficial. This is more beneficial than really forcing yourself to balance. Couple more. Done lots of balancing today. And then take a rest. Shaking out a little bit. Letting the breath settle. And then the tiger squat. I don't think we've done this for a while actually, but it's always a nice one just to go back to basic squat, but with that intention behind, that playful intention behind it, thinking of being a tiger. And what is nice about that is when you actually create the tiger claws here, you actually start to engage the back muscles as well. So that makes the back nice and strong so that you can glide your hips back, keep that back strong, just go as deep as you comfortably can, and then you can come back up. Shoulders are relaxed here, expanding, tiger claws. So there is where you create that tension. Tension as we go down through the arms and the fingers, and then pushing up through the heels and the balls of the foot. There you can relax, soften the hands, and then tiger claws again. And as with all the movements we're doing, is breathing easy. So if the breath is just natural, soft and easy in and out through the nose. If the breath changes, if you start to hold the breath, you either stop the movement, or perhaps you could just do smaller movements. So you can do smaller versions of it there. We're still moving those joints, you're still strengthening the legs, you're still engaging all the muscles in the back. Or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can go a little bit deeper. Hips glide back, slowly up. Let's do a couple more. Always standing tall at the top. Good, and come up to standing. bringing your feet back. And again, maybe shaking your legs out. Can certainly feel that in the hips after the balancing. And then the tigers, you should feel as if you've really done some nice strength work on the lower body. Let's just finish off with some split tigers. So you're stepping one foot forwards, shifting the weight over that front leg. So really make sure you bring the weight shift over that front leg. So you've literally got this back foot balance there, and then just come down the center. So you've got more weight, if I'm mirroring you there, on the left leg. Shift the weight forwards as well as you come up to standing. Step back. It's important about where your center of gravity is on this one. If you're back here, feels weird. If you're over the front leg, you can use that front leg. Come back up to standing. Step forwards. Nice and slow. Step back. Step forwards. Bring your weight forwards. Bring the spine forwards. And again, it can be small. It can be here. It can be a small movement. It can be a tiny movement. You're still getting that work through the leg. You're still getting that weight shift forward. So that's absolutely fine. Weight shift forwards. Let's do one more each side, just in your own time. And come up to standing. Letting the breath settle. Pulling down the heavens, breath in. Breath out. Interlocking thumbs. Resting your hands on the lower belly. Bringing your feet together. And just taking a moment, closing your eyes. And appreciating all of the work that you've done in the past 30 minutes, moving the body, oiling the joints, mobilizing, strengthening, breathing nice and steady. And then when you are ready, taking a slightly fuller breath in, opening your eyes, stepping out, giving yourself a little brush down. Pushing the arms, the lower back, down the back of the legs, and the side of the legs. Up to the front, give your belly a rub. Excellent. Hopefully nice and set up for the day now. I will see you on Tuesday. We'll be doing very similar on Tuesday with the breath work as we did last Tuesday, doing that little seated practice at the end, because I think people are enjoying that, which is great. So thanks for joining today. Really appreciate it. Have a good rest of the day. Have a good weekend, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.